Are the president's rules of engagement hurting our military's chances of coming home alive? 630 troops were killed between 2001 and 2008, but since the president's 2009 changes to the rules of engagement, more than 1,700 troops have been killed in action. Billy Vaughn, author of Betrayed, and his wife Karen lost their son, Navy SEAL, when his chopper was shot down in Afghanistan, and they join us now to react. Good morning, Karen and Billy.
Good morning, Peter.
So tell us, how is it that these new rules of engagement put men and women serving abroad in danger?
Well, you know, those numbers that you quoted just before we came on are critical numbers that Americans are not really talking about or hearing about. And thank you so much to Fox News Channel for being the one who keeps pounding out these facts. In fact, those, as staggering as the death toll is since this administration implemented their rules of engagement, the wounded in action toll is even more staggering. In the first 7.5 years of war in Afghanistan, we had 2,638 U.S. soldiers come home wounded in action. In the next 3.5 to 4 years, that number rose to 15,000 plus. So, you know, the strategy is not working. The rules of engagement are not only getting our men killed, they're creating serious injuries, but also what we learned from intelligence officers on the ground in Afghanistan is that also the Afghan civilian death casualties are rising. So it is a failed strategy altogether. And somebody needs to talk about it because the war is nowhere near over in Afghanistan or in that region. And
tied together with all those who have been tragically killed and wounded, you guys wrote in the Hill newspaper that there are men and women who are scared to act quickly because they're just worried about getting in trouble.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely, Peter. And what you need to understand, what Karen was talking about the Afghan casualties going up. As the American soldiers, as we became less aggressive, the Taliban and Al-Qaeda moved in to the Afghan civilians more aggressive and killed more of them as we changed our strategy. And yeah, what you're talking about right there is kind of like the tale of two cities. We have an American soldier who gave comfort to and colluded with the enemy, who is still working and freeing the United States, while soldiers like Lieutenant Lawrence, who actually engaged in killing the enemy, and others like him, find themselves in federal prison today.
And tell me about the events that led to Lawrence ending up in jail.
Clint Lawrence was your all-American boy, is your all-American boy. He is the cream of the crop. And as his mother states, you know, this is so poignant. His mother, Anna, will tell you that Clint is the young man who never would have seen the inside of a prison had he not chosen to serve his nation. And that's a sad state. What happened with Clint is he had spotters up on a rise, and they perceived aggression from some men heading towards their position who refused to stop on a motorcycle. A common tactic in Afghanistan to scout and or kill, suicide bomb troops, American troops. And those men told him that they perceived they were dangerous. Clint ordered them to shoot them. 2 of them were killed, and now Clint is serving 19 years in Fort Leavenworth for simply protecting his men. And, you know, the alternate to that is what most Americans can relate to, the movie Lone Survivor, where Marcus Luttrell and those other brave men on that mountain made the decision to let those sheep herders go, or goat herders go, excuse me, and they all ended up dead. And so, you know, what do we want our sons and daughters to do? Do we want them to survive and come home, or do we want them living in fear and terror of what will happen to them if they don't allow themselves to be slaughtered on the battlefield?
Karen and Billy Vaughn, thank you very much for your son's service, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.